Hello, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome. I'm just going to pick right up where we left off, page 38, session number 8. I will just make a note that today is the Monday, August 14th, 2023. Not that it matters. I just like to put dates on my videos. So this is number 8 on page 38 of Handbook for the New Paradigm, Volume 1, if you're following along. It is interesting that the power of thought has brought us to a meeting point of consciousness. This is a process of intent focused toward a mutual purpose. It is this bringing together of purposeful intent that is the magic of shared manifestation. It is evident in the perceived world that surrounds you in both positive and negative forms. Now, the plan is to raise that process to a higher level, to engage known processes to further your exploration of the process of manifestation. It is a matter of intention that brings forth the knowledge to be able to do this from a vantage point of awareness of the essential elements to ensure completion. This need not be done through blind faith in an unknown process. This would encourage an attrition rate that would ensure failure. It is a matter of making the data available to the conscious awareness and then allowing it to percolate. Pardon me. The inspiration for application will come forth into understanding. Manifestation is not a haphazard, lucky combination of synchronistic meetings. There are specific already existing procedures in place available to be used. It is a matter of bringing these purposefully into the awareness, and then the creative imaginations will trigger the appropriate applications. The quote, luck of the draw, is simply too risky to be relied on in this project. Here again, the stress remains on the careful choices for the parenting operation. It is not desired to belabor this point, but it is awesomely important. Ours is a most important combination of messaging your, I don't know, that's actually massaging. The word is massaging, not messaging. Ours is a most important combination of massaging your consciousness, plural, and stimulating your concerns without bringing forth panic. We are finding this to be a skill set that is most rewarding. It is indeed bringing about the desired results. You are not the only ones to which this process is being applied. Just know that all that can be done from this level is being done. It is in the actual movement from the point of inertia that will allow this behind the scene help to aid in bringing forth the manifestation of the plan. Remember, the birthing process begins with the dance of desires and culminates in an apparent miracle through processes that go on for the most part beneath the level of conscious awareness. These processes are not haphazard, but proceed within exacting synthesis of multiple complicated interactions. If there was an original plan for this commonplace happening, then don't you think that a plan for one as important as this one is also in place? If you do not need to be aware of the functions relating to the birth process of a child to complete itself, then you do not need to know all of the processes that will happen in this project. No, that's not how that's worded. Then do you need to know all the processes that will happen in this project? And again, I just said to Lisa this morning, I am practicing releasing my need to know, my need to explain. The human birthing process would not happen if certain physical actions did not take place to initiate its beginning. What is being emphasized here is that you understand you will not shepherd the whole process to its conclusion. Neither do we want you to think you will be left out of the project once it is initiated. Indeed, you will be included in ways that are not in the most freewheeling of your imaginations at this moment. In this case, we encourage you to trust the process and continue to be available, for you are all needed. You did not sign on for a short-term assignment. Let us continue now by moving on to other subjects that are, of course, related. It is important to keep a balance in this stretch of your understanding of this commitment to the transcendence of the planet and its inhabitants. Know that this is hardly a single-handed commitment, but the agreed upon commitment of countless numbers of beings who are not strangers to the process. In this case, the energy of this particular planet has reached a level of heaviness that is challenging, to say the least. But after all, you must know that all of you thrive on challenge, and this is no exception. However, this time it is not a game, for failure would have serious implications beyond the mere suffering of incarnated beings. This, of course, is known to you at your deepest levels, so it is not meant as a threat. In this case, we are allowed greater discretion to assist, and we are stretching it to the utmost in order to initiate the beginning of this project. Much planning has gone into the methodology of the contingencies covered, for the art of improvisation is not limited to third-dimensional experience. It is known that certain lack of sincerity exists in the realms of those who present themselves as leading the resistance to the planned changes. In this case, either these will find themselves involved in other activities, or you will have a distinct knowingness regarding the appropriateness of their inclusion. The identity of some of these might come as a surprise, but again, you are connected to a point now that you will know in the moment when it is necessary to be cautious. Most of what is included today in this contact is known to you. It is as yet not possible to reveal detail for two reasons. The proper sequences are not yet in place, and this line of communication is not yet at a level for these to come through. All possible is being done to prepare this last phase so that there will be a coordination of these elements. Again, We ask your patience and that you trust the process, redundant as it may seem at times. As you say, just hang in there. And I'm just going to jump right to number 9, session number 9 on page 41. The situation is this. Time is the primary element used to recognize placement within the third dimension. However, the veil between dimensions is thinning. As the awareness grows of the availability of fourth and even fifth dimensional processes for usage in this third dimensional realm, this veil will begin to thin even more. Remember, this was written in 2018. The new focus must include elements of the higher dimensions. How to do this? Thought moves between dimensions as long as the thought is within those dimensional parameters. Third dimensional parameters allow for interfering with the development of others. It allows for the forcing of one's will upon another. I personally would take issue with that, but that's a whole other conversation. Back to the book. Above that dimension, all are allowed freedom to develop without this interference. Personal, above that dimension, so above third. So I feel like we are already out of this third dimensional that's being spoken of here or something. For me, there's something about that statement. And I don't know exactly what it is, but back to the book again. Personal responsibility is the keynote of existence. Contrary to the mass consciousness appearance of the lack of development of this level, it is there, simply smothered by the barrage of mind control techniques. True. However, those techniques are not as successful as it might appear. If it were, then the massive physical control that is being put in place would not be necessary. If it were, then there would be no problem of what to do in their view of overpopulation. There would be masses of people following like lemmings into the sea. Well, we have seen a little bit of that now. What is becoming a rising tide is the groundswell of feeling of people longing for this personal freedom. Through the moving of jobs from your country, people have found that they can create for themselves new opportunities. However nebulous they may be within the, quote, communications dream of non-production. This success within planned failure has tweaked the creative urge within many, thus the proliferation of home-based businesses. It is this glimmering of personal success that has sparked a surge within even the most oppressed of the beings in your country, meaning the welfare recipients. This information has not stayed within the boundary of this country. It has always been alive in countries of great poverty. If it were not, more would have starved long ago. This longing for freedom will be fanned into a blaze by the dream and its simplicity. It will be this new conception that will lift the spirits of those who will hear, and the lift will be literal. The inner prayer of the longing hearts shall be answered, and their reaction to it will not be stopped. It can't be reached by third dimensional methods, for those who try to apply them will simply be left as helpless as was the dark plan for the people. Once the critical point of awareness is reached, support of the new paradigm will take the planet forward as a whole. The ascension, and that's in quotes, of the new age dreamers is one of individual flights into the clouds, but this shall be a planetary change. Your Bible mentions two standing in a field, and only one is taken. The person who wholeheartedly believes in the dream shall accompany the dream. The parents of this dream must have the understanding that third dimensional parameters must be transcended, and thought must be focused into the higher expectations of a new dimension. Trust in the personal responsibility of its citizens will be the key to the foundations of that new perception. It is the password, so to speak, for entry into this experience. Honesty and forthright are practiced without question. Your 23rd Psalm translation misrepresented this by the word, quote, righteousness, which was given the meaning of judgmental attitude, in particular, the actions of others. Instead, it was meant that each was to be responsible to live rightly within the personal focus on their life attitudes and actions. This would result in finding that games of inappropriate action will not work if no one else will play by those rules. I've said for a long time, everybody can play whatever game they want. I don't have to play your game. I don't have any desire to force anybody to play my game either. I'm okay now to play by myself if that's the case. I don't think we all have to everybody get all upset because we don't want to play the same game either, right? But it is true that there's games that are being continued to play with thought processes in place that keep them there. So back to the book. I'm gonna read that again. This would be, let's see, wait a minute. Your 23rd Psalm translation misrepresented this by the word righteousness, which was given the meaning of judgmental attitude, in particular, the actions of others. Instead, it was meant that each was to be responsible to live rightly within the personal focus of their life attitudes and actions. This would result in finding that games of inappropriate action will not work if no one else will play by those rules. There can be no victims and no martyrs if no one will play. I believe that's true. If no one will play that game. This may sound naive considering the chaos around you, but that is the difference. That is the leap that must be made through the assumption that humanity has a critical mass that is ready to assume this shift in perception. The profit motive at the expense of all others has not led to utopia. Man, in true perspective, is a radiant being, meaning created to give outward the expression of the Creator's love, not to live as a usurper, with only the intent of drawing all toward himself, as depicted by the material experience. The experiment of this has left him hollow and unfulfilled. This shall be the opportunity to experience what will satisfy and fill his heart cup to running over. Oh, I can share what that feels like. How can you paint this vision with the color of emotion that shall magnetize all that hear it and catch them up into movement toward it? Intent shall be the alchemical ingredient, and the Creator's love of his children shall spread butter upon the path to convert an old adage to a different focus. It can be done, it shall be done. On that you can place your life's focus and trust. The etheric winds of change are in motion, and the momentum is building. Do you think there is anything that can stand against the creator of the game in the first place? It cannot be so. Welcome to the winning side. Now, isn't that a wonderful greeting? This seems like a logical place on which to end this exchange of thought. Open your hearts and feel the love that is given to you for your trust and acceptance of our combined path in this marvelous adventure of adventures. How will we top this one? It is not for us to know yet. Ooh, this was a good one. So that concludes session number 9. We'll jump right back with session number 10 up next. I hope you are enjoying these, and if so, please do. If you feel led to like and share these around, please do. I think there's a lot in these, and there's certainly puzzle pieces, that's for certain. Till next time, be well, my friends.